Alright, welcome back, good people. This is video number 5 of the video series I'm creating specifically to enhance and enlighten your understanding of the stock market. Now, a lot of people I speak with want to know whether they should invest in the stock market and whether or not investing is a good idea. Well, my answer to that is yes. Both of those are good ideas. But before I continue, let me share a few statistics with you about the stock market. Now, there's the New York Stock Exchange. That's the largest stock market exchange in the world. It has about $19 trillion, trillion with a T. That's a lot of money. The second is called the NASDAQ, and it has about $6 trillion with a T. Now, both of those are in the United States. So that's a lot of money that's being traded. And when you think about wealth on the stock market is traded, is fluctuated a lot of times based on information that's exposed or revealed to the market, right? So 3 things you want to think about and make a goal when you begin to invest is you want to understand the market, you want to accumulate the stocks that you're thinking about buying, and you want to protect those stocks. So first of all, you want to understand how buying stocks and creating a portfolio works in your benefit. And on the other video, I told you that one of the ways that works is when you buy stocks and you're able to diversify, not just one stock or 2 stocks or 5 stocks under the same ticker symbol, but several different stocks, right? You want to have more than 1, more than 5, more than 10, more than 20 if you can, because that means that you're not going to lose everything when the market crashes or if the market goes down, right? Remember, understand it, accumulate it, so you don't have to do it all at one time. You don't have to buy all your stocks at one time. You don't have to make all your investments at one time. But what you want to do is you want to position yourself so that you have a stash of money so that when the market adjusts or fluctuates, you can go in and buy some more when it's lower, right? So that's a mental process you want to keep with you so that you don't just haphazardly, go and buy stock because someone recommends it, but you want to do your research and find out whether or not it's good for you, because just because it's good or it sounds like a good deal doesn't mean it's necessarily good for you and your investment strategy. And once you get it, you want to protect those shares, protect your investments, and protect your wealth, because 70% of the wealth that is lost from one generation to the next. In other words, if I create, let's say, $5 million and I don't educate my next generation, 70% of what I've created will be lost by that next generation because they didn't create it, they're not really familiar with it. So when they get that lump sum of money, they'll just spend because that's the way their habits are, right? So keep that in mind when you're making the decision to invest in the stock market. The next thing I want you to consider is that past performance is not a predictor of future performance. What does that mean? That means what happened last week or the year before that is not really an indication or indicator of what will happen going forward. So that's why it's been said that it's almost impossible, if not impossible, for people to predict whether or not a stock is going to go up or down or do well or do not so good, right? Now, keep in mind that with all these videos that I'm creating, I'm only educating, I'm only enlightening or enhancing your ability to make a decision about buying stocks, whether or not that's a good idea or whether or not I recommend that it is, right? And keep this in mind: when you don't invest your money in anything, whether it's real estate, small businesses, stock market, if you just put your money in savings, you're losing your money. You're losing money because what's effectively happening is inflation is eating away at your money. So think about this: if you have $50 in the bank and you leave that $50 in the bank for, let's say, a year, or 2 years. What you can buy for $50 today, you won't be able to buy for $50 2 years from now. That's the way inflation works. So you want to put that $50 to work. I know people who have excellent credit and they have a cash flow that's really nice for the sustain and maintenance of their lifestyle, and they won't invest. They won't do any gain any knowledge to understand how to invest some of that money they have in savings and put that money to work for you. That money is capital. It should be used to grow more money. It should be looked at from a seed perspective. When you plant a seed, you don't expect that seed to be there to not produce the harvest down the road, right? Based on time, you expect that seed to grow and produce maybe a meal or 2 meals or 5 meals for different families, right? And it will if you plant it and monitor it and water it and keep your eye on it. It's like a tree. When you plant a tree, what that tree looks like after 5 years is totally different after 50 years. But you have to give it time. See, you can't. That's one of the reasons that youth is such a marker of success or wealth availability, I'll say, because a young person has a lot of time to recuperate from mistakes they make, or situations they found themselves in that they had to start over. But as you get older, that's not really the mindset you want to have. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is creating a budget. When you invest, you want to create a budget that doesn't keep you struggling or throw you more in a stressful situation than you already are. So just set up a system so you can generate maybe $5 a day. If you can't afford $5 a day, $2 a day, or $3 a day, anything over time will build up and allow what's called the compound interest to take effect, right? Now, many of us have a huge fear of risk. And just because I say that it's risky, or John says that it's risky, or Barbara said that it's risky, doesn't mean that it's necessarily risky. It just means that we don't have enough information to make the next step because of we hadn't positioned ourselves to gain that information. But someone like myself who's sharing information with you about the stock market that Bob or Barbara or John maybe not be hearing, they may not get this information, so they will still be fearful when it comes to investing in those stocks, right? So don't allow lack of knowledge to put you in a fear-based mindset. You want to continue to gain knowledge even after you buy the stock, and follow the stock and see what it's doing, how it's generating profit for you, and how everything is falling into place for you, and continue to diversify. Don't put everything in one basket, and before long you'll be sitting pretty. All right? SpeakerLarry.com